The Little Panda, Lee. Once upon a time, there was a little panda called Lee. Lee was the youngest in his family. He had two older brothers, Tan and Han, who thought they were stronger and more beautiful than Lee. They had trouble relating to their little brother. They were always competing in games to see who was stronger, but Lee was not allowed to join them. Lee also looked a little different than his sibling. His right ear was longer than his left, and it often fell into his face when he was running, making it so that he couldn't see anything out of his right eye. Most pandas have small ears that stand upright on their head. The others often make fun of Lee. They call him floppy ear or one eye. This made Lee sad. His parents tried to comfort him by telling him that he was special. They always said they loved him as much as his brother. But as nice as it was to hear, it didn't comfort Lee for long. Somehow, he always felt that all the other panda bears were watching him. Something is wrong with me, the little panda thought to himself. He didn't want to differ from the others. There was a place where he liked to go when he wanted to be alone, which was the case this morning. Lee walked to the beach where an old wooden boat lay in the sand. It had not been used for a long time. In the boat, he could forget all his worry and let his fantasy run free. Over time, Lee had brought some things to the boat to make it special: an old blanket and a big bamboo pole for exercising. Today, he was looking forward to the delicious bamboo shoot he had brought for lunch. After playing and exercising in the sand, he crawled into the boat and ate all the goodies he had brought. He was exhausted and his belly was so full that he fell asleep. This had never happened before. Suddenly, a strong wind began to blow, but the little panda didn't wake up. Big waves carried the boat from the beach and into the open sea, which raged as Lee floated within what now looked like a tiny walnut shell. Lee woke up the next morning on a beach, drenched in sweat and rainwater. In order to see, he threw his head back, keeping his long ear from blocking his view. Around him lay the bamboo pole and a few remaining broken boards from the boat. Everything looked so strange. Lee shook himself vigorously to check whether he is really awake or just dreaming, and to remove some of the water from his fur. There is no doubt about it, he was awake. Oh dear, he cried in despair. How did I end up here? There was no one around to answer as he stood alone on the sandy shore of an unfamiliar island. It was still raining heavily, so Lee sought shelter under a tree. When he was out of the rain, he realized that he was very hungry. At home, there would have been a delicious breakfast waiting for him right about now. Instead, he would have to go in search of something adorable in this strange place. Lee felt queasy. Suddenly, something rested in the nearby bushes. A creature with a small head and long neck slowly began to emerge. Is that a snake? Lee thought, frightened. He remembered his parents warning about how some snakes are poisonous. But no, there had to be something else, because after the creature's long neck emerged from the bushes, next came a large shell. The creature moved rather slowly on 4 small feet. Fortunately, it didn't look dangerous, and the little panda gathered up all his courage to speak to it. Who are you? He asked. My name is Patricia, and I am the oldest daughter on this island. Who are you and where are you from? I've never met anyone like you before, said the turtle. Lee told Patricia his whole story. He told her about his home and his family, and thus sometimes he felt sad because he looked a little different from the other panda bears. Lee told her that he accidentally fallen asleep in the boat and hadn't noticed the bad stone that left stranded on this island. How am I going to find my way back? I miss my family already. Lee sobbed in despair. The old turtle listened to Lee very carefully, then said, I wouldn't even notice that you have a longer ear if you hadn't told me. I also have a very different pattern on my shirt than my fellow starter do. We all have things that make us each unique. Don't worry, I will help you figure out a way to get back home. Lee calmed down a bit and nodded eagerly. Suddenly, there was a lot of noise, because a family of curious monkeys had surrounded the newcomer. They swam from one tree to another, screeching wildly and asking questions. The little panda didn't know which of their questions he should answer first. The monkeys were so loud that more and more animals gathered around to meet the new visitor. There was a tiger, 2 mighty elephants, a fox, a kangaroo, and a parrot with beautiful colorful feathers. Even the furry capybaras put their head out of the water, but quickly dived back under the surface again when they heard the commotion. All the animals that lived on this island for a very long time and were very curious about Lee. Lee was overwhelmed. He was so exhausted from the journey and all the new expansion that his eyelid felt heavy and he simply fell over. When he opened his eye again, he was lying in a softly padded nest of grass. In front of him were ripe bananas, freshly leafy branches, berries, and many other delicious things. He was so hungry that he tasted a little of everything. Everyone is so kind to me here, he thought. I could get used to this. Unfortunately, the good feeling didn't last long. Lee got a stomachache from all the trees. The animals had been very thoughtful, but they didn't know which food panda bears should and shouldn't eat. When Lee told them that bamboo was a panda main source food, Patricia let out a deep sigh. She said, "Unfortunately, there was no bamboo grass growing on this island. I know that for sure. But I will bring you some herbs to help you make your stomachache go away." The parrot flew all over the island to double check. But the turtle was right. No bamboo inside, he confirmed. Patricia was an old wise turtle. She knew that no one could stay long in one place without the right food. So she went to the elephants and asked them to get some logs from the forest to beat a rat so that they could go home. The other animals were given instructions on how to help beat it. The capybara, with their sharp and strong teeth, proved to be mastered at working with the lodge. The monkeys thought it was great that there's finally something happening on this island. Instead of bickering and eavesdropping amongst each other, they could now observe the exciting going on. Everyone was busy assembling the raft as quickly as possible. Even the flamingo helped, although he usually did not like to get his feather dirty. With everyone's help, the raft was finished that evening. The tiger checked the drawing board, stood on the raft as a test, and said proudly, "You could go around the whole world in this. Well done, friends." Everyone cheered. Then Patricia approached the raft with a very serious look. "I agree," she said. "You've done a great job. But the most difficult task is still ahead of us. We now have to find out where Leaf Home is and find a helper who can swim very well to push the raft in the right direction." A silence spread over the group. Everyone was thinking hard. "I have an idea," said the parrot. "When I circle the island every day, I always see a dolphin in the water. Why don't we ask him if he can help us?" "Why didn't I think of that? I must be getting old," Patricia muttered to herself. "The dolphin is an old friend of mine. I'm sure he will be happy to help us." So the parrot flew over the track to help the finder. After a short time, he returned to the shore with the dolphin, and Patricia explained Lee's situation. "Of course, I will help you. Someone just has to show me the way," he said. This story doesn't end yet, so stay tuned for the next part. Thank you for listening and may everyone be happy. Have a good night.